First comes dinner and then the leftovers. So many of us love to make those turkey sandwiches with the cranberries the day after the Thanksgiving dinner, or maybe even that leftover sweet potato casserole, all the things. But how long does all of that last? People get sick all the time off of leftovers, and Dr. Jennifer Cope, branch chief of the Enteric Diseases Epidemiology branch at the CDC, is right here to break some things down for us. Dr. Cope, I appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
We see this happen every year. People get sick after what was, a really lovely dinner, and now their Black Friday is very dark in a different way. But I think let's start out with the basics. We love the big platters, and people leave the food out so that everyone can pick things up and bring it to the table. How long should all that food be sitting out?
Yeah, well, I know these buffets, potlucks, all that are very popular around the holidays. So the first thing you want to think about is keeping that cold food cold and the hot food hot when it's sitting out. And there's various ways that can be done. And then keeping an eye on that time. So you don't want that sitting out for hours at a time. Really, the rule of thumb is about 2 hours after it's been served. You really want to get it in the fridge or the freezer.
The turkey is something that you shared with me that I did not know this process for defrosting. If you have that standard big turkey, what do people need to know? Yeah,
this is something I've heard stories of people forgetting about their turkey and, oh my gosh, they got to get it in the oven and it's still frozen.
Yep.
So the number one thing you don't want to do is let it sit out on the counter and defrost. That's going to bring it up to temperatures that are kind of that danger zone where harmful bacteria can start to grow. So I think the most common way people defrost a turkey safely is in the refrigerator. And a couple things to keep in mind. You got to create that space in the refrigerator. I know I'm fortunate to have an extra refrigerator, and that comes in handy
in the garage,
this time of year. So creating that space and then allowing enough time. So if you've got a big turkey, it could take days. So the rule of thumb is about 24 hours for every 4 to 5 pounds of turkey to let it defrost.
Wow, I know that people, and then you were saying also if you do it in the sink in cold water, you need to change that water out every 30 minutes?
Yeah. So that's a quicker way. We say every about 30 minutes for every pound to defrost. So if you've kind of been like, oh no, you need to get it defrosted more quickly, that is an option, but a little more labor intensive because you need to be changing that water out every 30 minutes.
And I think that's where people seem to fumble, is not changing out the water. They just let it defrost entirely in the same.
And the other thing with that method is you really need to then cook it right away after it's defrosted.
Okay, and is that what you say for all of them? Or if it defrosts in the fridge, it can sit in there?
It can sit in the fridge.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Wow, I'm learning a lot, thank you. I'm really ashamed of some of my practices, which kind of leads to the last thing. Now, we all know wash our hands before cooking, but we see all the time food prep go poorly, which leads to illness. Also, food storage leads to illness. Can you talk about those things that pop up in terms of people getting sick in and around Thanksgiving?
Yeah, well, I like that you brought up washing hands because that is going to be the number one thing you want to do before starting any food prep. And this time of year, it's respiratory virus season too. It's going to help with all those things. But for foodborne illness, unfortunately, it's relatively common. About 1 in 6 Americans every year will get a foodborne illness. The ones that people get are, you might recognize, they cause outbreaks like Salmonella and E. coli, but norovirus can, if someone is sick with norovirus and prepares food, that can cause a big outbreak in the family.
Appetizing, right? Thank you, Dr. Cope with the CDC. We appreciate you joining us, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody.